get a discovery card and discover that nobody accepts it.
So when I got here, like I didn't know why do I need a credit card? Like
Mhm.
why is it that necessary? Why can't I just use debit card? Why do I need credit score if I have like money in the bank account with my debit
Yeah.
card, right?
Then you move to LA and find out that the houses are worth $1 million, and you're like, okay. Okay, everybody, episode 14. Today we talk about how not to end up on the street making $100,000 a year. You told me about this article you read about a woman who was making more than $100,000 a year,
Or
and
around 100,000.
yeah, in Sacramento, where everybody costs like 2 pennies, and she still ended up on the street. Tell us more about it.
Yeah, I guess to her defense, she has 3 kids, and I think she's a single mother. But it's still crazy how, again, she ended up on the street living in her car with 3 kids. And in that article, what they blame is the rising inflation, gas prices, food prices, rent prices.
It didn't go up that much to be thrown away on 100K. I mean, if you just live paycheck to paycheck on $100,000, then yeah, I mean,
It's definitely not managing your budget in the right way.
yeah, because you see, whenever you make 100,000, every percentage of inflation increase. So last year inflation increased by 9%. Then every time that happens, your spending every year goes up by $10,000. So
Yeah.
if you're spending everything you could, I mean, let's say after tax she has 70, and it pretty much went up by $7,000. And if she lives paycheck to paycheck, she wastes all her money probably on.
Yeah, but I think it's also it's worth noting that like the 8% inflation increase is an average, right? But if you look at what I guess the 3 main things where the inflation went up. If we look at gas prices, those went up by like 30%, right, or
Mhm.
maybe even 40% compared to especially 20 compared to 2020 for sure.
Well, unless she drives a Suburban or
Yeah, or some
a
really
big
old
truck.
car.
Probably, see, I will probably shit on that person. I think your job should be to stop me at some point. But I mean, she probably drives a new truck that is super nice because
could
she makes
be.
$100,000. She thought, oh, I can afford it.
Yeah. Yeah.
That would be my guess, because how do you waste all your $100,000?
I think in that article it said that they actually were that she drives Honda, and they lived in Honda for some time.
Nah, somehow I don't buy it. Maybe
I
it's a
don't-
nice Honda. That's,
Maybe, man, but like we don't know what 3 kids cost though, right?
I don't think it's that much. You gotta feed them. You gotta dress them. If you're broke, you can get clothes in Goodwill for sure. It's easy. She's
Yeah.
a single mother, probably a lot of help,
She gets
like
she
charity
gets
and
some.
stuff.
Yeah, in that article, what they were saying that I think she's got a like a rent subsidy of $1,800,
Crazy.
which they said
So rent is
didn't
free.
really help her because she was saying that it's actually not helping because like the mean price in that or median price in that area is like
What
$2,800,
the
which
fuck was she renting?
for 1 bedroom, which I was super surprised.
What was she renting? These prices are not even in LA, like where we live,
Yeah.
or San Francisco. You could probably find some 1 bedroom for $2,800.
Oh yeah, no, even less than that. Like it would be really nice in a pretty nice area.
Yeah, it
Especially if
probably
you sign a year
new
lease,
buildings.
yeah.
Maybe she meant a house, but there's no 1 bedroom houses.
Yeah,
It's Sacramento. There's nothing there. There's no. The people just pray and work for government there. It's probably the same people, and the prices there are super low. What? How would?
Yeah.
If she got 1,800 in subsidies for rent, that should cover all of her rent and then some.
Yeah.
It's Sacramento.
I don't know, man. I mean, it says I agree with you. Like I don't know what the it might have been a mean price, but even if it's a mean price, like I'm still sure you could find some pretty affordable places in like better or maybe a little bit worse areas, but still fine to live in.
Yeah.
So I don't know.
Then don't have to live in a car. I mean, so my guess, new cars, super fancy apartments. She probably pays, I don't know, 20,000 grand in consumer debt every year.
That's what I
wastes
think. What
all her
happens,
money.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think that's what happened because I'm sure she only had a bunch of credit, a bunch of debt, right? That you have to cover. Mortgage payments were there. It might have been even the fact that the house was or the apartment was worth way more than she could actually afford in mortgage payments.
Did she mortgage it?
Yeah. She was paying
Mm.
mortgage, and she ended up being like going through eviction because she couldn't pay off the
Mortgaged an apartment, 1 bedroom condo. Somehow I don't buy it. It's those numbers don't make any sense. So
Yeah,
what I'm betting at, some stupid propaganda, or she's just
it wasn't Washington Post, so
well,
maybe Bezos is doing some
yeah, but
targeted.
she could be just, I don't know, wasting all her money. She needs a good personal finance course
She
and
needs
a
us.
budgeting app. Yeah, she needs us for sure.
Yeah. But yeah, but honestly, like that, the inflation thing, though, going back to it real quick, like if you look at gas prices, right, it's like 30% increase. If you look at, I don't know, meat prices or eggs prices, those went up by, I don't know, like 10 to 20%, right?
Hmm.
And then, so yes, on average, it would probably come down to 8%. But if you think about it, like it's still a pretty, you know, pretty big increase in prices if you look at all the essential goods that you're using, especially gas.
Yeah, but we're talking about $100,000 a
Yeah,
year.
yeah,
So the numbers don't make any sense. So let's say with 3 kids, she probably has a lot of deductions. She got subsidies for housing, so housing
yep,
is free.
yep.
Like, where does the money go? Where did it go? Like, it's 70, 80 grand a year she gets after tax, probably because of all the kids and
Yeah.
everything that she gets, support, maybe even up to 100 with the subsidies for the. So, like, she pretty much pays no taxes. That's probably like more money than I make after tax. So,
I
where does it go? Like,
yeah.
I cannot.
Probably that, like honestly, yeah, probably mortgage and the debt. What I assume is like the biggest expense and the biggest monthly expense. All right. She
But
had a
I don't buy the mortgage part. You probably missing that out because if it was a mortgage, she would probably sell it for a profit. Because right now the real estate market is
maybe
super hot, and she sells the house and she just rents something.
true.
And how do you get these subsidies on the mortgage? I don't know if you can.
No, the
Maybe you
subsidy
can.
now. No, now she gets a subsidy to rent a new place.
Mm.
So she got like kicked out, and then to find a to
How do
find a
you
new
get kicked
place,
out? You either
she
get
said that the
foreclosed on.
police came to the house.
So that
So it wasn't a mortgage.
could not be a
She was,
mortgage
but like even if you're
unless
renting a place,
she didn't pay mortgage for like 6 months and got then even then like that's
it's really hard
impossible
to.
and got foreclosed, went through the court in California, foreclosed. Come on, like
And you can go through eviction if you're renting a property.
yeah, if you're renting
Okay, so
your
maybe I messed it up. Maybe then she must have been renting an apartment
what was she
as
renting?
opposed to
Probably an apartment with a
some
private
pretty
pool or something like that in
pretty good
Sacramento.
pretty good area, I'd assume. What I know for a fact is that she didn't have an emergency fund, which is what we talked about in
Yeah,
previous
she
episode.
probably didn't have any money left
Yeah,
over
yeah.
after every. I mean,
Yeah, her saving account got drowned. Drowned,
mhm.
and I think they moved later on to a motel where she was paying like $400 per week or something like that.
What is the $400 per week? I thought you're gonna say per day, and I was like,
No,
what is it?
no. $400 per week. But what's crazy is that her employer fired her because basically in the article it said that the internet connection was so bad at that motel that she couldn't really work
Mm-hmm.
because and she would constantly have this like interruptions in the connections, and the employer told her that they're firing her and that they'll be happy to rehire her once she finds like a permanent place where she can
Mm-hmm.
stay in, which I thought was not helpful from the employer side.
What can you do? I mean, if somebody cannot work,
Yeah, which
what are
honestly
you
is
keep
like
paying them?
if you don't have I feel like it's also a pretty not good enough of excuse to have unstable connection in a motel, right?
Yeah.
It depends on what kind of
Well, if
what
she
work
has
you
3
do.
kids, she has to be with the kids all the time, right?
One is like and one it was like 3 years old kid, 5-year-old kid, and 14-year-old kid.
Yeah.
It's a
I mean,
pretty big
14-year-old can take care
could
of the
could take
other
care of the
ones.
3 and 5, but The 3-year-old kid is probably a challenge. It's
Well,
still very young.
3-year-old is
Yeah.
not that little anymore, right? They can talk already, kind of.
They can go work.
Yeah, make some
Get
money. I
some make
mean,
some
you're
money.
living in a motel.
Leave some
She could have,
lemonade. Sell some lemonade.
yeah. This whole story is just. I mean, you can see how
It raises a bunch of questions for sure.
it raises a lot of questions, but I still kind of believe it because, yeah, there are people who just waste all of their money and they're broke, even if they make $200,000, $300,000 a year. This is
Yeah,
kind of
the
outrageous
lifestyle
because
is
she's
yeah.
in Sacramento. I would understand if she was in San Francisco, couldn't make it on 100,000 a year with 3 kids. That's understandable. But in Sacramento,
Yeah.
well, like what? It's, everything's
Yeah.
free there, and
No, it's I agree with you. I think it's crazy, and it all comes down to like personal finance, right?
yeah.
How can you manage your budget well? Do you have any savings?
She
Do you have?
probably never heard of saving money. I mean, completely. Like, she probably never even thought about it.
She probably. I mean, I guess a big problem is when you have debt, right? Like you can't really
Hmm.
start saving money unless you pay off your debts, and pay off your debt, and it's really it requires a lot of discipline. It requires a strategy. You have to be very strict with yourself and with family, and like you have to give up on a lot of stuff that you probably are comfortable with, right?
Consumer debt is completely. I cannot comprehend consumer debt. I
Yeah,
just
it's
I
like
just don't
why?
get it. Why?
Yeah,
I understand if you are in deep shit and you need some like few $1,000s to get by, and you know you're gonna make it back, and you have nobody to rely on to call and ask for like help or
yeah.
something.
I
I
th-
kind of understand that, but you have to have a plan to pay it back. Like,
yeah. I think it's the easy access to that money. You know, if you if like it's as easy as getting a credit card or like as
mm-hmm.
easy as going to some a some sketchy shop where they give you like microloans or
Mm.
anything like that, and like you can get money literally in minutes, right? And then you have money to spend with no future plan of paying it off. I think that's where it gets tricky, right? And like this is America, right? This is like, I guess the land of credit, and this is how corporates make money. At the same time, I think it's a great tool if you know how to use it. If you don't, that what gets you in a trouble.
I don't get it still.
Yeah. Look, I think it's culture, and obviously like if you need money, and again if you have easy
Mm-hmm.
access, like it's not a it's pretty straightforward that you're gonna go ahead and take it and like think that you're gonna come up with something else with a better
What do you
plan
need
later
money
on.
for? I mean, you
Yeah.
only need this money because you don't have any savings, and
Yeah,
you
and
want
you couldn't
something stupid,
save.
probably. Most of the time, like 90% of the time, they spend it on something completely stupid.
Yeah. Yeah, it's like as long as you have money to eat well or like eat fine, to somewhere to cover your rent expenses, you should be fine. But then there are some situations like some medical expenses or like some
Medical is different.
surgeries or yeah.
Medical loans is not a consumer loan, and to be honest, you can easily just not pay it. Well, I
That's
wouldn't
true.
say don't pay it, but
But it's
there's
not. It doesn't affect your credit score though, right? At least
yeah,
at least for years before you start paying it off.
yeah. You can get help if you're broke. You can get help paying back your medical loans, and so like if you're broke, actually you have like government insurance.
Medicare
Yeah,
or Medicaid. Yeah.
just go apply for that. If you're broke and you cannot afford it, just to avoid anything popping up in the future, just go apply for that medical insurance from the government. But don't be afraid to lose it when you start making more money, and just go work. I mean, so
Yeah.
those welfare programs, they are pretty. They trap people in the welfare state system. So they start making like
Like receiving those payments,
for the rent. They start receiving food
yeah,
stamps. They
subsidies, yeah,
start getting unemployment. And
benefits.
then why would you go find a legitimate job if you're getting all of that? So you're pretty much living for free and getting money for doing nothing. you can just go get a cash job. I
Yeah.
wouldn't advise you to do that because you're gonna get stuck in some bullshit. But you can just go get a
Yeah.
cash job and you live in that welfare and you totally controlled by the government at that point. You're not in control of your fate.
And then you vote Democrats.
Well, there, yeah, I wouldn't go there, but
Yeah. But I think it's a wider. Honestly, it's like a bigger topic than that. Like, right?
yeah,
You can get into like capitalism versus socialism, and then is America kind of getting to that more of a direction
hmm
where, you know, people want to get healthcare free or school for completely free, and then
I think that's all gonna change soon. So I don't think we're gonna
it's gonna
get there. So
yeah.
I think the
With the upcoming midterms.
no, I think the Gen Z, they're not, they don't give a shit about that.
Honestly, really, I think
Yeah,
it's on the opposite. Like they are pro
I
pro
feel like
everything
Gen Z
free.
are hustlers.
I don't know.
That's what
Man.
I'm getting.
I don't know. I think that I think you're looking into
Certain
very
demographic.
very narrow circle of people.
Mm-hmm.
If you look at those, you know, a bunch of like young people who are actually vouching for again like free college,
Mm-hmm.
free healthcare, which I mean I understand, and I agree that the healthcare system here is quite ridiculous and
Yeah.
like it's crazy to pay that amount of money for the service that's being provided here. Um, but at the same time, it's like people start hating on rich people. People don't want people like being rich is like you get looked upon.
Yeah.
And
And
it's
100,000 is considered kind of rich here. So like it's six-figure income, and you live in Sacramento and still broke.
yeah,
And
yeah,
she when she makes $100,000, if she didn't have 3 kids, she would pay a lot of taxes too. So I mean, there's your enemy, and she's still broke. So the real
yeah,
enemy is you gotta budget, and maybe if you budget, you're gonna get there too.
yeah. No, definitely. I think this is super important, and but here's the thing. Do you think for like lenders and for like banks and corporates, do you think it benefits them to make their consumers more educated on personal finance, budgeting, and all of that?
Um,
Because on the one side, yes, because they can get they'll pay off or get their debt paid off on time more. But
that's
on
a
the
tough
other side,
question. That's a tough question. I mean, in the short term, it benefits them to have financially uneducated people. In the long term, though, it benefits them to have their loans paid back. Because
right?
every time we go through a collapse, banks are those who suffering a lot, and we only go through those collapses because we're broke all the time. Like
Yeah, because
if you
everything is
if she
leveraged.
had a lot of savings and she was putting money into her bank account, even if she was putting like $2,000 a month of her $100,000 income, like that's not unreasonable in Sacramento. But if she was doing that, then okay, it's increased by 10%. The inflation increased by 10%. She wouldn't get hurt that much. She would be just saving a little bit less. So
Yeah,
see, and now she's gonna go broke, and now those loans gonna go broke that she has.
yeah. That's the thing. Her debt like keeps accumulating because
Yeah,
she's like getting more debt to sustain
and
herself.
they'll go into default. Those bonds are gonna cost less. So see, if we all would be a healthy, if it would be a healthy economy, maybe we would get less consumer debt, but we would get more mortgages.
Hmm.
Maybe we would get less consumer debt, but we would get more business loans. And then maybe so once businesses go sane and stop overspending and doing very risky maneuvers, then maybe we get some other like investments into those bank stocks go up, let's say. So it does benefit them in the short term. I don't think it does benefit them in the long term. And the economy, health of the economy, does not benefit from that long term, I think.
Right, right. Yeah,
Because those people, see, when you are financially free, or at least you have some certain amount of savings and you feel confident, you get to invest into education. And once you invest into education, so like there's like a lot of second order consequences to not having any debt, or at least having like
Some savings.
some healthy financial situation, because you feel more confident, you invest into studying, the smart people make better moves, more efficient economy, and they're
Yeah. No, I agree, and it affects your emotional and mental health as well, right? If like you're constantly s- stuck in debt, and like
mhm.
you always have to think about paying off your mortgage or paying off your consumer
Yeah.
debt, and like you don't know if you're gonna, you know, eat well next month. It, fucks with your head
Yeah.
for sure, and especially when you have kids. Like I can't even imagine that. Three, three kids. Well, if you have three kids, you probably end the, when if you have the first one and second one, you're like, okay, one more, one less.
Yeah,
It's
it's
not a
the
big deal.
same thing. He can
It's,
wear the
it's gonna be
clothes that
fine.
I already have, you know, like
Yeah. Yeah. But I think I guess the main conclusion here is like make sure to budget well and make sure to learn more about personal finance and have savings. Like it's as
it's
I
that
don't want to say
simple.
it's yeah I want to say it's easy. It's simple.
It's
That's
simple.
yeah.
Yeah, it's definitely not easy, especially if you were brought up wasting money, just tapping into credit cards. So what I learned, a lot of Americans, they grow up with the experience that parents never paid any of their debts off. They always kept paying the debt. It's like
Hmm.
it was their life, and
Yeah, you always
it's
leave in
just for
debt.
them.
Yeah.
It's like, okay, I'm gonna pay debts too, and I'll just start borrowing money now.
Yeah. Yeah.
Why wait?
As opposed to like emerging countries or developing countries, if you're
Well,
if you're middle class there, you are like the debt there
mhm.
is a scary word, right? It's
Yeah,
like
but it's hard to get to. It's
yeah, but it's hard to get it from like established institutions,
yeah,
but you can always get it from again those like microloans
or on the street.
with like 800% APR,
Yeah,
which is
but that's here
insane.
too. That is
Yeah,
here
that's here
too.
too as well. Yeah, but
You know how much money on the street costs? 10% a month.
shit.
Yeah.
Well, it's still not that bad, right? What is it like 120%?
Well, if it
If it
it
compounds, then
compounds,
yeah. Because I think
and then they come and break your legs if you don't pay it. So they kind of,
here they do it as well.
of course,
Really?
the money on the street is money on the street. It's
Damn.
like, and
But this is like a,
the people who are giving this money away are the same people that were giving this money away back in Russia.
or
So
the same personality. I'd say if you want,
well,
because I mean, a lot of different people do that. It's not
yeah,
just
but
one.
I mean, probably certain specifics, cultural specifics to how they break your legs,
Yeah.
but it's probably the same thing.
Yeah, yeah. But anyways, here you can, yes, it's easier to get it from to get a credit card
Mm-hmm.
than in developing countries. And um, so for example, and I know in my family at least, the like buying anything on debt or like
Mm-hmm.
taking a loan, it was like very, it's like scary, and you better not do it because it may have some really bad consequences. So
Yeah,
like you always save up in advance, get that cash and then buy everything for cash,
yeah,
cars, apartments, big purchases as well. Like, and that's why I think when international people come here from,
mm-hmm.
and I'm not talking about like Europe or like Australia or I don't know, this developed countries. I'm talking about this emerging countries. Then when they come here, and for example, when I got here, like I didn't know why do I need a credit card? Like
Mm-hmm.
why is it that necessary? Why can't I just use debit card? Why do I need credit score if I have like money in the bank account with my debit
Yeah.
card, right? I didn't understand that concept.
And
And
then you move to LA and find out that the houses are worth $1 million, and you're like, okay.
okay, yeah, I'll probably need a mortgage
You
when I
moved to San
decide to.
Francisco first. You were like,
Oh my
3 million.
god.
Shit. Move
Yeah.
down to LA. Still
Yeah.
need a credit. Yeah.
No, that's crazy.
Just well, it's very helpful to have those financial tools like mortgage and even personal loans. In some cases, maybe are useful. Like business loans are very available in the United States, and it just creates a lot of liquidity in the markets because right now my girlfriend's parents are trying to sell their house in Russia.
Hmm.
There is no lending on the houses in Russia, and so
Like against the house?
yeah,
Yeah.
so the bank is gonna come and they're gonna be like, okay, this house is worth like hundred
Pennies on the
thousand
dollar.
dollars,
Yeah.
and we're on the cash market, which is kind of the opposite here. Like if you have cash, you pay less here, But there, since the banks are not gonna lend any money on it, like the only way you're gonna sell it is in cash, and in cash it's probably worth like $300,000.
Mm.
So like it's just the banks are gonna be like, I'm gonna give you like I don't know $100,000 on a $300,000 house, and I'm gonna underwrite it as if it was $100,000 house. So like whenever you
Yeah.
go into foreclosure, let's say, you're not gonna get any of the money back. So that
Mm. Yeah. But that's obviously because the risk, I guess, is higher, or because they also have less data
they
available,
have
right?
less data, they have less money, they're not ready. The market is not there for the finance, and probably the bonds are not like nobody's buying those bonds either. So
Yeah. Yeah.
there's a lot of components to that, but and there it's pretty much impossible to sell the house there or invest in real estate. Let's say one of the things I told them, I'm like, why don't you guys like take half of the money in mortgages, like it's paid off, the house is paid off for them. And I was like, why don't you have half of the money in mortgages and just rent it out, and then over time you wait until it sells. And they were like, yeah, but the mortgage is like
Wait.
useless.
What do you mean by like? I mean, the house is already paid. Like it
Yeah,
belongs to them, right?
yeah.
It's already paid off and everything. Why would they need to take a mortgage again?
Well, they cannot sell it. It takes too
Oh, you mean
long.
like, okay, why don't they get a loan against their
Yeah,
house? Okay, okay. Yeah, and they
a
can't get a
mortgage
loan
against
against
the
their
house.
house.
Yeah, and
Gotcha.
get out of it.
Why can't they just rent it out for now and because they need cash,
Yeah,
some cash at least.
yeah.
Gotcha, gotcha. Yeah.
And they're also scared to rent it out in Russia because there's no credit score system.
Like you don't know whether
You don't know where they are gonna pay, where they're gonna tear it up, and whatever, where they're gonna make druggies use it.
trap
Like,
house.
yeah, because there's no credit score system there, and
Yeah.
so it is useful. It is useful to have the credit system be robust. It's just not useful to take those consumer loans and just waste all your money on the shit you probably don't even need. Like, what did she?
I don't know, man. It
Uh,
doesn't. They
okay,
don't specify in the article.
Yeah, let's go to the next one. So again, credit cards, right?
Yeah, which is I guess a logical transition.
Yeah.
Um,
So how do you get more consumer loans? We're gonna
and
go
why do you need
from
more credit?
yeah, we're gonna go from shitting on credit loans to increasing your credit. But
Yeah.
to be honest, this credit can help you in business because whenever you first start your business, you're gonna be the primary
Holder.
credit guarantor
Mhm.
of the credit. Whenever your business is gonna go open a bank account, open a credit line, open like maybe you're trying to flip houses, you're gonna get
Right.
hard
Right.
money lending and stuff like that. So you're gonna need a good credit if you're gonna start your
Yeah.
business. And
The thing is like you may have an average credit score, but the thing is you're just gonna pay more in fees and like the higher interest rate, and you will have less favorable terms.
you might not even qualify for some of them.
Yeah. Yeah.
So like
Depends on
for
what
example,
score you
my
have.
friend is renting out a space for body shops, and they're pulling his personal credit, and they're like, you need to get more than like 650, maybe they said. I think they said more than 650 to maybe, so for them to even consider you as a worthy kind of renter. And he's like, I'm gonna pay you cash as much as you want. Like, I'm ready. I'm moving in tomorrow. I want to move in. They're like, oh, like this is the American bullshit that I hate at a certain level, because every time you're trying to do something, you're trying to move fast, you're trying to make deals, you're trying to like scale up. They're like, okay, there is some realtor who's like, okay, let's pull your credit. We're gonna need 3 days to come back to you, and then they're just not picking up the phone. Like
Yeah.
this whole stuff is like,
Dude, don't get me even started. I have a colleague who last year was trying to rent an apartment. Um, he was looking at the apartment as the same time as I was
mhm,
looking at it. Or was it? No, it was this year, I think.
mhm,
Yeah, this year. And the thing is, he offered. So the in LA, the real estate market was so hot that they found a house, and it was like a a third house that they wanted to move into, but they couldn't because they were always like not picked, and like someone else was moving
Mm-hmm.
into those houses. And he offered to pay 12 month upfront,
Yeah.
upfront, and then the realtor was like, "Well,
We
the
don't do that. We
yeah,
don't
yeah,
know how
yeah.
to do that.
the
Oh, we have a system. I don't
the
know what the contract. She just doesn't want to write the contract that says that he paid
Probably.
for
No,
12
but
months
she
up
was
front.
saying something like, "Oh, the landlord wants to like still see other other tenants and see what they."
She didn't even talk to the
She
landlord.
probably
She
didn't even talk to
probably
them. Yeah.
haven't, and she probably was like, I don't know how to write that contract. This guy is crazy. Nobody
Yeah,
has
like
12 months. She never heard of having 12 months of rent and cash. It's
No,
like,
in the past 2 years, like a lot of people have been doing that.
never heard about it.
I've heard, like literally even so another friend of mine, he looked at the houses in Hollywood Hills,
Hmm.
like that. Like,
Well, Hollywood Hills
like
people
nice houses.
probably understand something because the houses there are like 5 million bucks.
Yeah, and like people are paying 12 month upfront.
Mm-hmm.
Those were like 7 to 10K. I would say probably sorry, not that
Probably
10
more.
to 15K.
Probably even more.
Yeah, 10 to 15K, and yeah, and like there were people he lost that house because someone else got selected. But anyways, like even then, and what's funny, the landlord came back
Mm-hmm.
to my colleague, and he was like, "Fuck off! Like we already found a new place which is way cheaper, and we didn't need to pay 12 months up front."
Yeah.
So it's like ridiculous. So I definitely get what you're saying.
Yeah, it is just. It's very frustrating. But we went on a tangent from talking
Yeah.
about the credit score. So, how would somebody raise their
Right.
credit score up?
Yeah, so I think the first and the most important step is that the you have to pay off your debt, right? So you literally you get your credit card. I'm sure a lot of our listeners already have a credit card, and the most important factor that affects your credit score is actually paying it off on time regularly.
Mm-hmm.
And while it sounds quite simple and common sense, a lot of people still like don't pay enough attention to it, and they would miss their payments. So I think the easiest way
But
to
that's I'd say paying down the
credit
credit
card regularly. Yeah.
regularly is the stupid way to do it.
What do you mean?
So the way people understand paying down those credit cards is not the way me and you understand it. And even my friend recently went to it was his first credit card. He went to Wells Fargo, got a credit card, and the way they told him to pay it down was, well, you spend the money on the credit card, then every month you get the minimum monthly payment, you just pay it. And that's how people understand to do it. And then he called me. I was like, Alex, my credit score went down 100 points. What the fuck is going on? I'm like, what did you do? He was like, I did what they told me at the bank. And I was like, dude, these people who work for the bank even don't understand how to manage your credit score. So the actual way to do it is to never let any dollar hit your balance. So the way you do it in the proper way to like have your credit score to be like close to 800. Mine was 803 at some point,
Okay.
and now it's 770. So it's a pretty good credit score.
Yeah.
I didn't even know it was a good credit score before I read a lot of applications for like even Amex Gold takes you with like 650.
Yeah.
So they were like, you have to have a good one at 650. I was like, what, 650?
Yeah, 650 is
Um,
average, I think.
Yeah,
Right.
and like 5 years ago, I took
Yeah.
a car loan and it was like 3% when everybody around me was like getting 8. And I was like, well, I mean, I don't know what's going on. I thought my credit score was shit. But
But anyways, what's the right way to do it?
so the right way to do it is you spend money on your credit card before the
The statement
statement
is
date.
posted. Yeah.
You
pay
pay it off
The whole
fully.
amount,
The whole
yeah.
amount you spent within this month, you pay it all fully. Don't even let the bank auto pay hit it. Before that even happens, go into your bank app, transfer money from your checking account into your credit card. Make sure it's zero. Usually they also play with you, and because there's absolutely no reason for money that goes from within the same bank that goes from checking account to credit account to take 3 to 4 days, 3 to 4 business days to
Yeah,
clear.
yeah, to cover
There
that.
is no reason for that, but they're gonna take that much time, and then but usually between statement day and the closing day, there's 3 days, so they kind of allow you to after statement day you have kind of 3 days, but you have to pay it before
I
the
think it's
statement
even
day.
more than 3 days, honestly. I think
Some
it's like
it
I
can
think it's like a
vary.
week or two.
Yeah, it can vary
Yeah.
depending
Yeah.
on the credit card company and stuff like that. But they're gonna let you some window, and within that window, please don't spend any money on that credit card. After the new period starts, the new statement period starts, if the value is zero, start spending again. If it's not paid down, then start spending. So never
After after the statement was posted or before
after the closing was posted.
the closing was posted, yeah.
So it has to be zero. In that case, so the bank sees that you are using credit cards and it gives you benefit for using them, but it also sees that you are not reliant on the minimum payments and like their payment system, and they're gonna give you high credit scores. So you are still using it because you have to use the credit cards to build any credit score, but you are
Yeah.
not paying down, like, so you don't have active balance. And the active balance is bad because initially if you have bad credit score and stuff like that, you're gonna have the like maybe you're gonna have like $2,000 on your credit card, maybe 1,500 on your credit card, and any balance on that $1,500 is a lot of percentage of the credit use. So the way they see it is
Yeah,
you
yeah.
only qualified so far for $1,500 and used it all, and you are paying it back with 20
So
percent. So they're like, oh,
yeah.
this is a piece of shit, and they are gonna cut down your credit score.
Yeah, that's I think, another point, so about the credit utilization rate,
Mm-hmm.
which is basically how much credit do you use, or what's the percentage of credit
Yeah.
that you use that's out of the total credit that is available to you,
Yeah.
out of the
So
limit.
maybe if you had like $100,000 credit lines open in your name, and then you forgot to like uh,
Pay it off.
cover the balance of
Yeah.
1,500 on your one credit card, that would be tolerable for a credit score system. But if you spend like $500,
Out
$1,000,
of
and then you start paying
1,500.
minimum
Yeah.
minimum payments and you keep spending money on that credit card, they're just gonna kill your credit score.
Yeah.
And if
yeah.
you skip payments, you're done.
Yeah, yeah, and it can go like I didn't know this because I honestly have the auto
Mm-hmm.
pay on, and I would cover some amounts, like especially large amounts,
Mm-hmm.
before the auto pay, just because I don't feel like really uncomfortable. So if I have like
Yeah,
big purchases like $3,000 to $5,000,
because it can get
I
your
would
sometimes you can get your, so you have to cover it because it can run away from you, the credit card, especially if it's unlimited credit card like you
yeah,
have.
yeah,
So
yeah. No,
you're like, you don't even know, like,
you don't control. You just like keep spending, keep spending.
mm,
But yeah, so I guess the conclusion here, or like to summarize, how you pay it off correctly in order to maximize the credit score growth, is you have to do it um, before. So you have to cover not the minimum amount, but the whole amount that was
yeah,
posted. You ideally do it before the I guess
statement date.
before the statement was posted, right?
Mm-hmm.
And if it was already posted, then pay it off as soon as possible, and do not run new transactions on the credit card unless your active
Yes.
balance is zero.
Yeah,
Yeah.
which is hard for most of the Americans because they don't have any actual money on their debit accounts. Because there was an article that made a lot of noise. Like, it was the most popular article in probably in personal finance in the last couple of years. It was, the article said that the average American cannot cover $600 in emergencies. They don't have 600
crazy,
bucks in
yeah.
their bank account, and
Yeah.
Americans are the wealthiest nation in the world.
Yeah. Well, I guess per
Make it
capita
make
it's
sense.
not as high as Switzerland or
I think
like
it
those other
is.
no, like Saudi or Emirates, for example. Like per capita there is, But you have to look at population numbers as well, right?
Population numbers, but even per capita. So the per capita might be higher, but the distribution is better in America, the wealth distribution. So the average salaries are going to be higher in the United States, and especially like high salaries are higher
Yeah,
in the
even
United
though the
States.
wealth gap is growing a lot, which is honestly
Yeah,
like a completely separate topic.
the wealth gap is the wealth and earnings is it's two different worlds. So, but it's a
Yeah,
completely
it's another
different,
topic.
complicated topic.
But you were what were we talking about? I think it was
The credit score. So the first
yeah,
first tip completely paid off
yeah,
before the statement date. Then
yeah.
don't use it for quite some time, for like 3 days before the statement clears, and it shows $0.
And your active
Yeah,
balance, right?
yeah, and then start spending again. But
The
never make it run
for
like
more than the like
the full balance. Like never let it hit the actual like
limit.
interest.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Man, I actually it's my first missed payment that I had like this month. I freaking it was like damn, it was like $260. So I recently changed my
Mhm.
banks. I used to use one bank and then I switched to
Mhm.
Chase. And one of my first credit cards is still it's on auto payment
Mhm.
every month, and the my checking account that it's get covered from or by is like my old bank account,
Mhm.
and I don't really transfer money there anymore. And I was like I was really confident that I transferred or I changed the the main bank for the
Mhm.
credit card, and it turned out that I didn't, or there might have been some. Maybe I changed it for like one-time payment, but I didn't change it for auto renew
Mhm.
auto payment. And dude, I got charged like $6 or something, but still I missed the payment, so it's probably gonna hit me pretty bad. And
Oh yeah,
it's not just a couple of cents; it's like $260.
that sucks.
I paid
Your
it
credit
off.
score can go down
Yeah, I've
significantly.
heard it can go down like literally 100 points or something, even more.
Hopefully that doesn't happen.
Hopefully not. I mean, I covered it. I noticed it 3 days
You can
later
call the bank.
and tell them like, hey,
You should have called them right away actually. And if you talk to them, they might
waive it.
remove that record from of the missed payment if they
Yeah.
do it in time before it hits the um, credit bureaus. So you should have called them.
When does it hit credit bureaus? Is it?
Not nobody knows, but there are
That's like their
some
internal
protocols that
system,
they're
right?
working through.
Yeah, yeah. But definitely one of the mistakes that I've made personally, and I'm gonna
Yeah. They can
pay
remove
for
it
it.
from the credit bureaus too. So if you,
But they can take like half a year, like several months. What
I
I've
mean,
heard.
still worth it.
Yeah.
If it will go down by 100 points, I would call the bank, have them remove it, send you the documentation through mail, and then like probably don't do it yourself. Hire some credit fixing
Agencies.
agencies, and they'll call the credit scoring systems, and they'll just remove it from.
Huh.
They won't even look into it actually.
Huh.
Yeah,
Yeah.
for
Because it's my first
$5.
missed payment, and I mean it's really stupid because it's like I obviously like it's not that I don't have any capital to cover it. It was just that it was another account, which sucks, but lesson learned. And I guess to our listeners, please don't make that mistake. But another thing that I want to talk about is the credit utilization rate, something
Mhm.
we've mentioned previously. So the thing is, I think the rule of thumb is that you don't want to spend more than 30% of the available credit.
Yeah, that's what they say. Like that's what Great Karma is gonna tell you. But I'd say don't spend any. So I
Don't
think
spend. No, what do you mean? Don't spend any
I think that refers to the actual like outstanding
balance.
balance. Yeah, not to how much money you spent on your credit card. Like if you covered it before the statement period, you're good.
No, actually, they suggest like do not even spend
I think
more
I
than
think
thirty
they
percent.
because I'm not an expert in that
Yeah,
particular point. what I noticed is it never affected my
If you,
credit score,
yeah, but on
but
the other side, you don't know what your credit score would have grown
it
to
wouldn't be much higher
if you
than
spend less
what it
than thirty
was.
percent.
I used to spend less than I wouldn't spend at all. So like open the credit card and I wouldn't spend at all on it for like a year and a half. I wouldn't spend $1 on it. So and then I started spending a lot on it and it didn't make any difference.
Huh.
But also um I think they just assume because that's a right assumption for an American company to make that you're gonna leave this balance outstanding. And if you like spend more than 30% in 1 month, and
And you
that goes
covered
to
it.
outstanding,
Yeah.
that's bad. But if you cover it all before statement, it's not a financial advice,
Yeah.
but I'd say
Yeah.
that doesn't sound like.
Yeah, I would say, yeah, and it's like, honestly, we probably need to check it ourselves.
Mhm.
But I also spend more than 30%, to be honest. But again, like if you look at any resource online or like books or anything, like the rule of thumb is 30%,
Mhm.
and that's why, if you want to spend more money, or if you want to spend money on credit and like not let it hit your score, then like the advice is to get actually more credit
Yeah.
available to you, right?
Yeah.
So if let's say you have $10,000 of credit available to you monthly on like 2 or 3 cards, I mean it could be one card, then
It's
like
a
you
bad
can spend
advice
like
though
3,000.
for a regular American. That's a bad advice because they're gonna use it all.
So this is for people that are disciplined and actually paid off on time. And this
Yeah,
is like I
it's a
was
trick
reading a
if
book
you're
on.
already figured it out and you have your savings. You can always cover it. Raise it up a little bit. Maybe call your bank and
Yeah,
be like, I've been your
client
member.
for
I have
years.
great scores.
I've been covering payments on time
Yeah,
across like all these
can
years.
you
Yeah,
raise it up? They'll probably raise it for you or offer you a new credit card.
yeah,
New credit cards.
yeah. It's crazy how in order to raise your credit score, you need to increase your credit. But it's a part of the game. It's
Did you know that there is also like 7 different credit scores?
yes. I
Not
mean I
not
don't know what
the
exactly the amount.
credit bureaus, but
Yeah.
within FICO there is like 7 or 9
Yeah,
different
there's like
credits.
a credit score for your car, a credit score for your like if you're
Yeah,
gonna take a mortgage.
and credit score for your car is not measured in like 700, 800. It's measured to like 5, 6, 7.
Huh, I didn't know that.
Yeah.
But yes, I knew that because when I was getting a car on lease, um, my friend told me like go to this website, go to FICO, I think, or and check the credit score specifically for the car lease or car
Mhm.
payments.
What's the next tip?
So the next step, I mean, we mentioned it as well, briefly touch on it, but like you can actually, negotiate with
Mhm.
banks. So if you make, payments on time, if you've been a customer for, let's say even a year and a half or even more years, or longer time, then you can call the bank and you can ask them to either waive, let's say annual fees.
Mhm.
You can ask them to decrease the interest rate as well, or you can ask them to increase the credit line. Now, like sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't work. It depends, but it's always worth giving it a try. And I guess how you usually do it is let's say you have an annual fee coming up. So for example, I use Amex Gold card and I have a $250 fee annual.
Mhm.
If you pay everything on time, I mean if you cover your outstanding or available balance on time, then you can, I guess theoretically you can call them and tell them, hey, can you guys waive this fee for me? And they
Mhm.
would ask you why, and you'd say, hey, I've been a customer with you, for this long. I've never missed my payment. I like using your card, but it'd be really sad if I'd have to leave and go to another credit card company or basically not be your customer any longer.
Mhm.
And then usually, again, sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. But usually they can either waive your fee. You can do the same to try to decrease your interest rate.
Mhm.
And then you can also ask to increase your credit card limit as well. And honestly, they can even do it in not in days, but like approve you right there on the call, which I thought was pretty
Yeah.
interesting. So
And you would ask why would they do it? Because they supposedly make money on outstanding balance and all that stuff. That is one way they make money, but whenever it goes to outstanding balance, they might not get it back, and they also make money with every transaction that you make,
The
especially credit
data?
cards. Hmm?
The data you mean, or
No,
oh, you mean the data process? Oh, sorry, payment processing.
payment processing fees, especially for credit cards, are like 2, 3, 4%. So they make like 4% every time, 3, 4% every time you swipe your credit card. So
Which uh
if you're using it enough, they might make a lot of money off of you in a year.
and that payment or that is charged by, sorry, yeah, obviously that's charged by credit card companies, but
Hmm.
the people who are charged are the business owners,
Yeah,
right? Yeah, it's
business
not a
owners
consumer.
pay for every transaction that you make.
Yeah,
So part of the
and that's why I
business.
think we've talked about it recently, right? You were saying how Discovery Card is not as popular or does not get accepted
Yeah,
everywhere because they charge like
there
really
was a
hefty
joke.
fees.
It was get a Discovery card and discover that nobody accepts it. So
Yeah,
yeah, they were charging. So their business model, I guess, was they're giving crazy cashbacks to people. Their conditions are pretty good, but then they're charging. Of course, to make those cashbacks, they're charging the businesses much more money, and so businesses are like, we're just not going to accept it. And then, yeah, it's a good kind of like
business model.
cashback credit card, but nobody accepts it, and so you have to have another one. And
Yeah,
in that case, just why bother?
yeah, yeah. Or those credit cards may just have like special partnerships, right, where they get probably reduced prices for services or products
Mm,
because they can drive more traffic
yeah,
to those businesses,
yeah.
which I think is also a pretty interesting revenue model. But yeah, so like it's worth giving it a try, and giving a call to a bank and requesting something. By something I mean more favorable terms,
Hmm.
even before, let's say, you get approved for those automatically later on. So you can ask for those earlier. Um, yeah, and so this is, I guess, the a good thing to do. And that's the point number 2 or number 3. Um, we've, I guess, to summarize that, um, to get a more credit, right, or to get more credit,
Hmm.
what it helps you to do is like helps you to or to stick to your credit utilization rate of 30%. So basically, not spend more than 30% available
Hmm.
to you, which keeps you like again as a rule of thumb, and that helps you to keep your credit score healthy and going up. And if you want to spend more, you have to increase your credit card
Yeah.
limit. And again, if you want more favorable terms, don't be scared and just dial in those numbers,
Hmm.
the phone number on the back of the credit card, and ask for better terms. Um, and I think another interesting thing is you have to use your credit card to, to not, I want to say to the limit. What I try to say, to the limit of perks that are available to you.
Hmm.
It's like all the benefits that are available, you have to know them well in order to maximize the benefits of the card.
I would say don't bother.
Why?
Don't waste your time. It's just too much attention to something that doesn't matter.
I would say don't spend too much time on like getting into small, like really small details,
Hmm.
and like become addicted to points. But definitely know like some of the biggest
Yeah.
benefits. So for example, on Amex, that I think both of us have, I've recently discovered that there is like an 1 year extension and warranty for some products that you can buy, and
Hmm.
could be like electronics, for example, like where you buy an iPhone and they have a 1 year warranty that goes with it automatically. But then if you bought it with Amex card, you get an automatic extension of 1 year,
Hmm.
which is pretty cool. Or if you rent a car, if you travel, you rent a car, and then they offer you this collision insurance.
Hmm.
You
Yeah.
don't really need to get it because most of credit cards usually already cover it,
Yeah.
which I think is like also a really nice perk. And last but not least, I guess the travel expenses, or just
Hmm.
traveling overall, is like really big topic for when you use those credit cards, because you can get a lot of benefits for it. Usually includes like round trip flight
Hmm.
tickets, or you can get a lot more points when you, let's say, book specific hotels through that specific platform that the credit card provides, Like Amex has its own, and so on and so forth. So I would encourage people to just dig into what perks are available and like try to, you know, use all those benefits because it's like it's
I
never
would
gonna.
say don't try to use all of those benefits. Just keep in mind that you have them, but don't try and use them. Like if you have to,
If you have to, yeah, yeah, yeah.
yeah.
Let's say
Because people are actually so like they would get those credit cards and then they go,
they'll start
I
using
have
it,
to use it because I have this
and
benefit.
they'll
Don't
start
do that.
spending more.
Don't do that. Yeah.
I guess if you have plans to do something
Yeah.
and you're gonna spend money on it anyway,
Then do
go
it.
to the platform and
Yeah.
check if there are any special offers available because you can
But
save some money.
otherwise, please don't. Like, stay away.
I mean, it's like it's a psychology where you know if you go to a shop and you see that something is on 50% sale
Mm-hmm.
and you are not gonna buy it, it's not that you saved 50%; you spend that money
Yeah.
that you were not gonna spend anyways.
So
Yeah.
don't bother.
Yeah.
And we wanted to talk about luxury life. So, what does it actually take to live a luxury life?
In terms
What do you
of
think?
in terms
Yeah.
of finances.
In terms of how much money do you have to make to live the life of your dreams? So let's outline maybe the like main points. So we live in LA. It's probably the numbers are gonna be a little higher, and our preferences maybe not our very regular preferences. So like for somebody having a Ford Raptor, driving that and living in a big rancho or whatever could be a luxury life in their like community or maybe
View.
something like that. Like, but for LA, it's like the standard, not the standard, but well,
The
was it
vision.
the standard of luxury living is a little higher.
Yeah.
Because here, I think if you're not super crazy spender, you pretty much blend in with the majority of people. People just waste their money in Los Angeles on stupid stuff. Like,
Because it's the show off culture here is huge.
oh yeah,
You gotta like showing off worth more than your wealth.
yeah. Most of those people are broke. Like even those supercar drivers and people who live in luxury houses and buildings, most of them are broke.
Yeah.
But they make it look like they're not. And but still, to actually live the luxury life and to actually be solvent, like financially solvent, and be confident, and to actually live it, not like fake it. What do you think it's gonna take in Los Angeles?
Even in terms of amount.
Yeah,
of
like
money?
how much do you have to make a year? Not even net worth. Net worth is irrelevant.
Yeah. I feel like you have to make like well, I guess it depends on how luxury we're talking about, right? It's
Okay,
if the house is if you have a house in I don't know, in Malibu on the like the front line
Mm,
and you know
how much
right
is
there, the houses there are like 20 to 40 million dollars.
20 to 40.
Yeah.
Okay, I heard there is a like a billionaire area in Malibu, and then the prices are there even higher.
Yeah, probably. I mean, Mark Andreessen recently bought this property, which I think was like one of the highest or biggest purchases in 2021 or beginning of 2022. I think it was 2021, and it was above $100 million.
That's
Is what he
insane.
bought it for. Yeah, which is
But
insane.
okay, let's say 20 million bucks.
Yeah, $20 million house. What probably like a $1 million car or like $500,000 car.
Well,
Would
there's
be-
not that many cars that worth that much.
What's the average luxury car price? Like $200,000.
$200,000.
Two
Right
to
now, the market
300,000.
is crazy. You cannot buy anything still. But MSRP, they're like 200 for
Yeah.
like a Lambo or Ferrari. For a good one, so like a good Ferrari, it's probably more. There's new Ferraris that worth like $600,000.
Yeah.
But that's like
That's too luxury.
yeah, I mean that yeah, there are levels of course to even being in that life, but to step in like LA luxury lifestyle, let's say your car is $200,000, but
Yeah.
but then the insurance for that car is like $2,000 a month, so it's you
Well-
probably pay $2,000 a month, and insurance is much.
Well, it's a luxury life.
Yeah.
But yeah, if we, and I guess that kind of uh, what do you call it? That correlates like with the vision of luxury life as we
Mm-hmm.
have it. You know, the modern luxury life dream, or it's like have a huge house somewhere in the mountains or on
Mm-hmm.
right in front of the ocean, driving a fancy car, attending fancy dinners, going to fancy places. Um, what else do you do? I don't know. Having a yacht or a
Staying in
boat,
Ritz Carlton,
staying Ritz Carlton, going to a new
flying private.
flying private, yeah, going to Hamptons on during the summer. Um, yeah, taking those trips
Mm-hmm.
every couple of months. Um, but so yeah, well, that's probably too luxury. but but I think it's worth worth starting with a house, right? Like if you want to get a, are we talking about? Are we actually gonna talk about $20 million house? I
I
think
don't think you need $20 million
yeah.
dollar house.
Let's probably. I feel like 5 million probably
Yeah,
be a better.
be a decent house
Yeah,
in
yeah.
LA. Probably sounds insane for the most of the country, where
Or the
five million
world.
bucks is like the biggest house you can buy. Even probably in Chicago, there's like the
I don't know.
houses
I
there
feel
are
like
super cheap.
in Chicago, the apartments probably in the city are like you can
Yeah, there must be some penthouses there.
yeah for more than 5 million. I'm sure.
No, I mean, but those are again super luxury. Um, you don't
Yeah,
need that.
we're talking about average luxury then.
Okay, like average luxury, like um, a what would you call it? The um,
The
the
house.
YouTuber that
Oh.
sells courses on e-commerce, kind of luxury.
Yeah.
That level.
New money, young money luxury.
Yeah, the rapper lifestyle luxury.
Luxury.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so
The
you're not
beginning rapper probably. Or no, the year
the poser like
like really hot for a year, a couple of years.
yeah, a couple of years kind of made it kind of
Well,
luxury.
honestly, what we can do, also we can do is like try to see how much you must be making in order to afford that lifestyle, and then we can categorize
Yeah.
what kind of people can afford it and
Yeah,
who they are.
so $5 million house. You probably can buy something in West Hollywood, um, maybe mid city.
Can you do it in Hollywood Hills?
Probably not.
God damn. Should we
Yeah.
get it up to 10 million then?
Hmm. 10 million. Let's make a break and you grab your computer and we'll see how much those houses are actually worth and how much the mortgage is gonna be.
All right. So let's see. What do we want to
Hollow Hills.
find out?
Go to Zillow. Go to Hollow Hills. Let's see, like 5 bedroom house, 4 bedroom house, 5 bedroom house. If there are some of that size.
Hollywood Hills, LA for sale.
Mm-hmm.
All right. The first result, they have 4 bedrooms, 5 bedrooms. Sorry, 4 bedrooms, 5 bathrooms.
Mm-hmm. And can you make
3
screenshots so we can show it to our viewers?
3.9 million. Yeah.
3.9 million. Oh, so you can buy something in Hollow Hills for 5 million. Is that a decent house or is it like a dump?
No, it's a pretty cool house.
Hmm.
Um. Oh no, that's Studio City.
Yeah, that's not
It's not
Hollow
West
Hills,
Hollywood.
bro.
Hollywood Hills specifically. Okay, let's see.
Studio City is pretty nice too, but it's not Hollow Hills. Those listings might not be on Zillow.
Yeah. Well, I feel there's one. Okay, yeah, I think this is Hollywood Hills. One for $6 million,
Mm-hmm.
almost. 4 bedrooms, 5 bathroom. $5 million house as well. 4 bedrooms, 5 bathroom.
Mm-hmm.
5.2.
Open that
four-
5.2 one and see how much the mortgage is on that. I'd guess it's like around $23,000 a month.
Is that estimate
Actually,
is what
maybe like 19,000 a month.
homes market value? Oh wait, no, that's another way. Estimated payment per month 28,000.
28,000. Okay, 28 grand a month after tax for your personal house. Okay.
Yeah, so 28.
House,
they-
Hollywood Hills.
Yeah,
And Hollywood
5.
Hills is like a beginner rich.
Yeah, it's 5.3 million
Mm-hmm.
if we round it up. Okay. So you paid that amount. What's next? The car?
The car, I'll tell you. Like, let's say you drive you probably need two cars because if you're driving a Lambo, you probably need a daily car.
Yeah. So
Because you drove this 911, it was like impossible to drive every day, probably.
yeah, you
Like too
definitely need.
rough.
And then
And that's 911. It's not even that rough of a car.
which is so Lambo? Which Lambo would be?
Work on. It's $200,000. The payment on it is gonna be 2,500 plus insurance is like 2,000. It's like 4,500. I'd say for that.
Okay.
So car plus insurance.
330K is
Yeah,
what I
you
have.
you'll also have to buy a second car to drive daily, and that's probably some Mercedes, and you'll probably spend like 2,000 on that.
Or Taycan.
Nah, maybe Tesla.
Tesla Model S. Let's do that.
Yeah, so that's probably $2,000
Okay. Tesla
with
Model
insurance.
S is it's starting from 100K, the MSRP.
And the payment?
The payment is, let's see, the payment is close to 1250
Mm-hmm.
a month for 36 months at 10,000 miles per year and 6,000
That's
down.
leasing,
That's
right?
probably leasing,
Yeah.
yes.
So
Let's see.
let's say 2,000 with the insurance for
Yeah,
the
like
payment if you're buying it. What's next? Gas. The
gas
gas
for your
on the
Lambo.
Lambo is probably gonna be a lot. You can buy a Lambo truck actually and save on the buying a second car.
Worse?
Yeah, euros. You can just save on buying the second car. The car is probably 300,000, so
Yeah, but if you're living luxury, do you really want to save on a second car?
why not?
Why not have two cars?
Well, yeah, you already have a big house with probably 5-car garage.
But did you include insurance on top
Yeah.
of that? Okay.
Yeah.
So what do we have so far?
We have 28 grand for the house. We have 4,500 for a sports car, 2,000 for a regular car. So
Nice.
whatever that is together. You need to you need to eat. You're probably gonna start eating bullshit like Noble and all that stuff.
Nice restaurants.
Yeah. So
Going out.
that's gonna go pretty high.
So let's say you go to a club or like a nice spot
Well, if you go to
every
the-
weekend.
Well, if you go to a club every weekend and you buy tables,
Yeah, you buy you get a table.
champagne.
They're like, let's say they're 2.5K on average, because I think the average is like
Yeah,
2 to
but
3K.
you're not the only one buying the table, so
Well, what if you're the only?
probably not
All right, let's divide it then by.
by 4. If you are going to a club alone, you're probably a loser. So
Or, well, at
just
least two
don't
people.
go.
At least two people. Because there are gonna be cases when you're like, all right, guys, I'm just gonna cover it all. My treat.
Well, that's
We're talking
not
about
every
luxury.
night,
You're,
but
you're talking about.
that's just throwing away money, right?
Yes, it's just throwing away money. But you're talking about like luxury, like fake luxury.
Luxury on the budget. No, that's
Luxury
not
on a
even
budget,
fake
yeah.
luxury. Fake luxury is when you rent a car for a day, make a video
Well,
with
that's
it,
too
tell
fake,
it's
yeah.
yours, rent an Airbnb with your friends for your party, and then before they come, you record the video, or you just go to an open house and record a video in the house.
Yeah.
It's like that's the actual fake luxury. Then you go to Nobu, stand outside, and then tell some bullshit. Make a couple of go inside, get water, and make a couple of pictures. I don't know, like that's LA lifestyle when it comes
Yeah,
to it. And
yeah.
I heard a guy. I was listening to a guy. He used to buy luxury cars, and he was making like 200,000 a year driving a Nissan GTR. It's like a $150,000 car because he loves cars, whatever. I mean, he made a business out of it eventually, but at some point, this car almost got him broke. So,
Damn.
you know, like, but in LA, that's the
Calm.
lifestyle, and you
Yeah.
can just rent it and tell
But that's like
everybody it's
that's
yours.
honestly that's understandable because so a lot of bloggers or vloggers do that,
Mm-hmm.
and I was like watching or so one of the videos and the guy was saying like, well, when I was driving like a regular car, I would get that many likes or like that
Mm-hmm.
many views. When I
Yeah.
upgraded to like McLaren, or like Maserati or
Well, that
something.
that makes a lot of sense
Yeah,
if you can
it's like
apply it. If you
yeah,
can.
yeah, because they get more clicks, they get more views, they get and obviously like higher, better monetization
Mhm.
out of it.
If you can scale your business with it, there's no. I mean,
Yeah,
make sure you're doing it in a reasonable way
yeah,
where you don't have a like any following yet, and you're already buying a Lambo
yeah, that
to
doesn't make
start.
sense.
It's
Yeah,
like
yeah.
you don't know what it takes. You don't know where to start. You don't know what to talk about. Just Lambo is not gonna get you enough clicks unless you're doing like car content. And even then, like if your content sucks, if you cannot talk on camera, you don't know how to scale it. You don't like
Yeah, yeah,
just don't do
yeah.
it.
That's like that's once you have traction, once you have
Yeah, that's
like
an
followers, viewers.
amplifier, but if you're trying to amplify zero by any amount, it's still zero.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
So,
And I think um
but
what
most of those people are just doing it to show off in front of their friends.
yeah,
They're,
what's also important is like if you decided to go in that with that route, you
hmm
have to make sure that you have consistent return on this, right? Like
yeah,
every month, because the payments that you're going to be making are going to be monthly. And
and the
if it
insurance is just throwing away money, so
yeah,
those payments are gonna
and
be
if you get a
insane.
return the first 2 months,
Hmm
but then it's like it goes back to what it was originally. I mean, talking about like numbers, views,
Yeah,
monetization, all of that. Then you're like stuck with a car, and you have to pay still like the
yeah.
same amount of money every month.
So, and even if you just got a car and you start posting it, that's not gonna make any difference. You still gotta pay for people to start seeing that you have the car. Not they're just not gonna discover it by magic. So like be smart about it.
Yeah, yeah,
And better just not do it until you can really afford it.
yeah, yeah. I guess it's like
Otherwise, you're
going
just
back
scamming
to
people.
yeah, you're
Unless you're a
scamming.
rapper, that makes sense.
Yeah, but yeah. Anyways, like it's it. What it means is like it could be an investment. It could be an interesting tool that can drive you or generate a higher return, but you have to
Hmm
be reasonable about it and like see it as an investment and see it in terms of like run a cost and benefit
Yeah,
analysis and then make a
and especially
decision.
right now, probably don't buy it because those cars are gonna go down in value as the economy goes to shit.
Mm.
Like last 2 years, just buy it if you can. Like it was
Yeah,
the greatest
super
decision.
hard to get a car.
You could get it and just flip it for like 50 grand now, let's say, and you could still drive it and make more money than like it's a better deal than driving like a Golf or whatever Toyota Corolla.
Yeah,
But right now, probably think twice because they're gonna go down value fast. Um, yeah, the loans are probably gonna be more expensive on those cars. So think twice about it. Um,
but anyways,
Going back to it, so how much are you gonna spend on food? Like 5 6 grand? Just going
just
out,
food or like or
eating,
going out?
going out, food.
No, I think honestly it has to be 10 to 15,000.
10 to 15,000 for what?
Just going out,
If
dude. Like you
if
can
you're living
get,
the deluxe life, yeah. If you
but
join the clubs, if you're going to people to
no, but
places
honestly, like
where
even $500 dinners is not. It's like not something crazy, right? Like you go to a
it's
really nice
not,
restaurant,
but if
you
you're
get a
doing it every day,
or every other day, or I don't know.
yeah. But how often
But
do you
think
do it?
about it. But think
Yeah.
about it. Like if you live that lifestyle,
Mm-hmm.
you probably have like a pretty big network or like a network of
Yeah.
people who are making the same amount of money. And like if you go to for dinner and like it's also an investment, right? You go to a dinner, you meet with those people, you talk to them, and then you go to proper spots, places, clubs. I don't
Mm-hmm.
know, close clubs, where again like dropping $500 for dinner is like nothing.
Yeah, private parties and stuff like that.
Yeah,
And flying out to join some, I don't know, party. Yeah, 15
yeah.
grand doesn't sound that
Yeah,
ridiculous.
15 grand. I think
It is
it's
ridiculous, but doesn't sound that crazy.
yeah, it's yeah.
15 grand, um, going out.
And honestly, I think the lifestyle can catch up with you so quickly that it's like even spending 50 grand on just regular stuff like buying clothes and going out is like not much at some point.
At some point, yeah, but
yeah,
that's next level.
yeah.
Let's say shopping. So shopping. What do you think?
Shopping. I mean, depends where you shop, right? You can get a T-shirt at Louis Vuitton for fucking $2,000 to $3,000
Yeah,
and
the T-shirt at Louis Vuitton is like $1,000.
$1,000.
Yeah.
Yeah, but if I don't know, man. I mean, if you live in a $5 million house,
Well, $5 million house is so like
still,
you could live in $5 million house and do nothing of what we listed. Like, don't drive a super crazy car. Like,
yeah,
buy just a regular Mercedes and drive that. You can. I mean, you don't have to go out and eat crazy and like do all
yeah,
that. I mean, just living in $5 million house is not a luxury of life. I mean, it's nice.
yeah.
Um, but you don't have to do all of this crazy
Crazy
stuff.
stuff.
Yeah,
Right.
and that's already half.
Okay, let's say then you don't shop at like Louis Vuittons and this like
Mm.
top
Well,
designer
no,
brands,
you do
but
shop because you live in LA and you do all that.
yeah, but
So
let's say you don't go there, you go to like Nordstrom
what?
or a freaking somewhere. I mean
Bloomingdale's,
Bloomingdale's, yeah, where still like you drop hundreds of dollars for a
Balenciaga
shirt,
shoes.
t-shirt,
Yeah.
shoes, all of that. Like, yeah.
So that'd
So
be
what do you think? What do you say?
6,000 a month.
Yeah, I think 6,000 makes sense. I was gonna say like five.
If
but
you're a
five.
man, if you're a woman, 60.
Don't make any assumptions here.
Yeah, sure. So
Um,
6,000. Shopping. What else?
Shopping, going out.
Travel.
Yeah, like travel. I mean, you mentioned private jets and all of that, but honestly, like I have no
Just
freaking
business?
idea.
Business class.
Yeah, let's see like the business class. Yeah, what's an average? Like if you want to go to New York, for example.
To New York, probably like 1,500, 2,000, maybe. Maybe more. Probably
Let's
$2,000.
yeah, let's do like 2,000. I think it could be between 2 and 3
Mm-hmm.
because the regular
So
tickets are one way, right?
one way.
Yeah, so it's like 4K going
Yeah.
back and forth. And if you stop in New York,
I think if you stop in New York and
it's like gonna be 500 a night in a hotel.
for a dumpster, if
You
you sleep
think
in
so?
a dumpster, yeah, in New York. If you live in, if you stop in Manhattan,
Manhattan, yeah. I'm talking about like nice hotel.
yeah, like
Well, let's say $800 per night.
yeah,
You go there for
probably more,
1,000 per night.
dude. Like Manhattan.
Okay,
Like
1,000 per night.
if you're going to like what was it, Crown Park Plaza? Or
Mm-hmm. Right next to the Central Park.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Like how much is that?
yeah.
Or you stop at the Ritz Carlton, or you stop at the Four Seasons.
True.
It's-
All right, let's give it 1K a night then, right?
Yeah.
So like 4K flight.
which I think is generous.
damn. Okay,
Yeah, probably
15.
1,500.
1,500 a night, and you stop there for, let's say, a week
Let's say a week. Yeah.
or like 5 days.
Well, do we travel every month? We probably don't travel
Every 2 months, let's say.
Yeah, so let's cut it in half, and
Well, honestly, if you live in that lifestyle, you probably travel a lot.
yeah.
But like, yeah,
so like let's say 8 grand a month
on travel.
for travel on average over a year. So like maybe
Yeah,
you
on
drop
average,
15
yeah.
one month and then don't travel the next one.
Wow, that's like 96K a year.
Easy, right?
Easy.
Yeah. So
You travel okay.
after tax. What else?
Insurance, like we've included all of that, right?
Mm-hmm.
You want to save some money too, right?
Well, we can assume that
They
Yeah,
leave
after,
they leave
like-
check to check.
no, like when we
Okay, well,
calculate
okay,
the
yeah, let's do it after. Then I think those are all the main expense, unless you have a significant other or
then double
or
all
you
the,
like that lifestyle where you have
a lot of others.
significant others, which what do you think
Gets
that would
crazy
be?
real quick, right?
Do you want to put it at
Escorts and all that stuff.
10 to 15? Well, I didn't want to say that, but you want to put it at 10 to 15, another 15K?
Yeah.
I think that's quite reasonable.
Is that included in going out?
No,
No? Why not?
because what I was thinking there is like you
Just by yourself?
friends, yes, by
Mhm.
yourself, and like you go and see friends and like maybe some business meetings and
Mm-hmm. So what is that?
another 15,000, I think. I mean,
Easy.
some clothing if you travel
Clothing.
together, if you know
Yeah.
pay rent, probably. Yeah. Okay.
That's LA whatever they try to flex on you, like those gurus on the internet on how to make money. Whenever they're making videos, that's what they're trying to show you, that they're living like that, which
Yeah.
they probably don't in most cases. So what would that be? So can
Let's
you
see.
calculate
Yeah,
it?
let's do it. We can't do public math.
Yeah, like that's gonna be too many numbers. So
Okay, 1 second. All right, what do we have?
we have 28 grand a month for a house. We have $4,500 for a sports car.
Wait, 4,500 for
For a
sports
sports
car?
car, we have $2,000 for an extra car
Yep.
daily. Then we have 15 grand for going out. We have 6 grand for shopping. We have 8 grand for travel, and we have 15 grand for significant others and other spendings.
Okay. Okay, that's at $65,000.
Okay, multiply that by 12. So $65,000 a month.
Okay,
Multiply that by
780,000 dollars per
780,000.
year.
So not that crazy. You can actually make that money, but that's after tax.
Yeah.
So multiply that by 2 at least.
Or let's assume the tax rate that you're paying. It's probably going to be
50.
close to 50. Yeah.
Multiply that by 2.
Yeah.
That comes down to
$1,560,000.
$1,500,000. And then you probably want to save some.
Let's say you want to save what, 20%?
Save, invest. Yeah,
20% per year,
20%. So multiply that by 1.2.
or divided by 0.2.
0.8.
Divide by 0.8.
Yeah.
4.8. Yeah. 1.9.
$1.9 million.
$1,950,000.
950. And that's how much a month?
That's 162,500
$162,000. So
per month. Yeah.
per month, in gross. So that's
Gross, yeah.
actually that's not that crazy.
Actually, yeah, I thought it would be way more.
Yeah, me too. So that might sound insane, but if you're selling courses on the internet, you can make that much money. Like
Yeah.
if you're selling a stupid course for like 5 grand
A pop.
a pop, yeah, then you can reasonably make that much money.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Well, so honestly, that means that those people
You
can,
can- you-
and
you
they even
only
get
need
to
to do-
save some money on top of the lifestyle that they have.
Yeah, but you only need to do 30 sales on $5,000 a pop.
Courses.
Yeah, so you probably have advertisement spend, which is high. So let's say you need to sell 60 to 70 $5,000 courses, which is, I mean, not that crazy to think about, and you can afford that lifestyle. So, but to be reasonable, you gotta be so like. What are the ways that a person can make that much money, other than being a sales?
Yeah, I mean, so if we're talking about some professions or like where you can make that money
Yeah.
on job, I think there is only several.
$2 million a year, cash.
Yeah, close to $2 million. Well, I think you think lawyers can make. Yeah, lawyers can probably make that.
Lawyers,
Well,
but you gotta be old.
Okay, for sure, what you can
Or super
who
good.
can make that? Hedge fund managers,
I mean,
private equity managers,
private equity managers.
venture capital firm managers can still make 2 million.
Yeah.
But it has to be in pretty established firm.
Yeah.
So if you work in finance and you are either in MD or a partner, like
Mhm.
that's doable. If you are a doctor, let's say, or a lawyer, with lawyers, I think what they can charge, let's say, at average top, let's say 2,000 per hour.
That's 4 million a year. So that's
That's for a million. Okay,
so.
but you have to be a really good lawyer.
Yeah, you gotta be super popular lawyer that everybody knows and everybody goes to for some certain specific niche.
Cases.
So, a lawyer, yeah, Eller
Dentist.
can probably a dentist. If you're on your own clinics, then you can probably make that much money, and that's not gonna take
By your
you.
own clinic, you mean like like your own doctor's office?
Yeah,
Yeah,
a
I
few of
can.
those, I think.
Mm,
How much do you think the doctor? I think the regular dentist clinic probably makes like $300-400,
$1,000
for 400,000.
per
I
year.
would guess like
Could be.
yeah.
For me it's like
It depends
I
on the
don't
clinic,
know.
of course.
Yeah, because they collect money from insurances, right? So it's like
Mm-hmm.
and they have individual contracts with every insurance provider, and so but on average, honestly, like, I don't know.
Yeah.
But I think it sounds reasonable. Yeah, like $400,000, probably could be even higher. But what else? If you are a top manager at some corporation, big corporation,
Yeah,
tech
that's well.
companies, right?
You're not gonna get cash. You have to sell stock every month to cover that lifestyle. Because those top managers, they don't even make that much money, like cash money, because
Yeah,
those tech companies are pretty lean on cash. They don't distribute profits and stuff. They're gonna get a lot of stock, but usually it's a bad sign when the top manager in a company sells a stock, so they're disincentivized to do that by the companies. So what the C-suite executives are probably gonna make like what 500-600,000 dollars a year.
and then get
So
a stock compensation on top of
the
it.
stock
Yeah,
compensation is gonna be crazy.
yeah, it's gonna
Like
be worth
it could be
millions.
like worth a lot of money, but that that's not cash.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah.
So
Yeah, but do you think even let's say in tech companies like the
mhm,
top managers, let's say Google specifically,
yeah.
like
Well,
making two
Google is
million?
a different thing, you know.
Yeah,
Those guys probably
it's
make
an outlier. But yeah, but there I think $2 million in cash is not
it's not that insane,
ridiculous at
yeah.
all. Yeah.
And then, well, actually, I read, yeah, I think Microsoft CEO made $21 million cash
Mm.
in 2020. So I read somewhere. So I mean, but that's Microsoft. I mean, there's one person
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
who
yeah.
makes
It's like
that much money.
and it's the
So
biggest payout in that company. Yeah. But other than that, I can't come up like with any other like
well,
professions or
profession specific,
yeah,
yeah,
specifically
because
yes.
business owner, even the dentist, that's not a profession if you own
Your own
multiple offices. Yeah, you're a
offices.
business
Yeah,
owner. You don't even have to be a dentist to own those, I think.
yeah,
So what else? Real estate. If you sell luxury real estate, maybe.
yeah. If you can make that commission, right? Like how much
Yeah.
are they making on
Well,
average?
the commission is like 2% maybe
Yeah,
for an agent. So it depends. On the larger deals, they might make less.
yeah,
But the deals can be very big, and they can make
yeah.
significant
Lucrative.
proceeds.
Yeah,
Um,
if you sell a bunch of houses worth of um, of the character that we've made an example of, $5 million houses, you sell what? Let's say you sell 5 of those per year. It's 25
you're
million.
not gonna make that much money.
Yeah, it's not gonna make it.
Yeah,
It's not gonna do it. What about couple of $40 million houses? 80
still
million.
not. You're gonna get close, but
Wait, 2% is what, like 1.6 million?
mhm. You're getting there. I
Actually,
mean,
yeah.
yeah, but I mean, that's like
It's hard to do it consistently.
yeah, and it's a rare deal. But actually, I argue if you're known for selling 40-50 million dollar houses, it's pretty easy for you because there's only so many buyers and only so many sellers, and if you can get in between of those,
Yeah, and you usually get like a circle of buyers that
you might not make
are
that
in the
much
same network or circle.
that much commission though.
Yeah, it's probably gonna be less, like 0.5 to 1% maybe.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah. So out of regular professions, probably missing a lot of professions like oil. Anybody working in oil, they make a lot of cash.
Like in those big companies, you mean
Yeah.
like ExxonMobil, for example.
Yeah.
But wouldn't it be similar to how we discussed with tech companies where they would get stock compensation?
No,
And
actually,
not
the
cash?
oil is cash heavy. Like, there's a lot of cash flowing around. It's so the tech companies they don't make any revenue really. When you look at the oil companies, like Exxon is probably making hundreds of billions. Like maybe
6 billion in this quarter,
what
Q1 2022, $6
the
billion in
earnings?
revenue.
6 billion in revenue for Exxon. Maybe 60.
Fuck.
I'd argue it's
Or
probably 60.
maybe it's earnings. Let me see.
Yeah, I would believe in 6 billion earnings for Exxon. Um, Exxon is like the biggest one, right?
Yes, one of the biggest. Let's see. Yeah, what other professions do you think can do it?
Um, business. You have to start a business.
Earnings of 5.5 billion.
Yeah.
So those are earnings.
What about the revenue?
Let's see. Earnings of 5.5 billion or 1.28 per share. All right, revenue March 2022 quarterly as of March 2022 87 or 88 billion
For quarter.
per quarter.
Yeah, so multiply that by 4, more than $300 billion. And that's cash flowing around through their accounts. So they probably pay out like large bonuses, large salaries to their employees and then like executives. So if you're in oil, you can make great like cash. But their stock is pretty much worthless though. So like they will make 300 billion in revenue.
No, it's not worthless. You mean the growth? Like
Well, yeah, but
the
they're not
potential,
gonna
yeah.
pay their employees with
Yeah, I guess
stocks.
because
It
I mean
will-
those are less risky than tech stocks,
yeah,
but on the other side, yeah, they're not gonna go
they're
up
not gonna
as
pay it
much.
because it's not growing, and when it's not growing, they cannot issue more stock, and that would dilute the like the shareholders of the company.
But guess what's Amazon's sales or revenue in Q1 of this year?
Q1 of this year, Amazon, I'd say 80,
116.
116 for quarter. Damn,
But guess what was the profit? Not
zero, like
a
close
loss.
to
A loss of 3.8 billion.
zero. So I mean,
Oh,
when you
it's
talk
negative.
about $116 billion, and they're just investing, they probably raised a lot of money on the public market or something and just invested it.
Or they're just investing their, gross profit or their operating profit.
Yeah.
Insane though, because like Axon has 5.8 billion in earnings. These guys are negative 3.8. Wow.
Well, I mean, it's a different worlds like oil and
Tech
and
services
tech. Yeah.
and products. Yeah.
Amazon is probably one of the biggest consumers of oil though. In America.
With the trucks and everything.
With the trucks
logistics,
and
yeah.
the infrastructure.
They are switching to
Electric?
Electric though.
Well,
Yeah.
that's gonna take. I mean, look at those numbers.
I saw the they had wait, what's the company they have the like really large contract with?
Rivian,
Rivian. Yeah.
I think.
There's still yes. So they had a contract with Rivian, Ford. There was one company, car manufacturer, who had a contract with like this EV companies
Mm-hmm.
or with the EV company that went public, and then they started offloading their stock, and I think they canceled on those contracts or something like that.
Yeah. So
You want to go back maybe
to being a luxury.
no how to afford?
Super
Who else
billionaire.
can afford that?
Who else can afford that? So I think oil. There is a lot of positions in oil. I think business owners. So
Yeah.
when you start doing business, and if it's not tech, if it's some services, these numbers don't sound that insane. So like, yeah, that's liquid. You have to be like 2 million liquid to be able to afford that, but it's not so crazy. So like as I said, the you can justify a Lambo and this crazy lifestyle, a house and in the hills and all that, if you can capitalize that good enough, so you can sell like courses or masterminds in the house. Maybe you can even write it off then.
Yeah.
If you do masterminds there to like other entrepreneurs or one entrepreneurs, show them this luxury life, and then charge them like 5,000 for a mastermind or for a course, and if you can sell it to like 60-70 people, if you're already making that much money. So that's not super crazy. And if you
Yeah.
start writing it off, you don't even need 2 million, you maybe need 1.2.
Honestly, like I mean, it depends on how we calculate the the gross income here. But in I guess in the real world, if you're a smart or reasonable businessman, you would
Hmm.
invest probably like half or at least third of it into your business
Well,
back.
your business, if you're a reasonable person, your business would probably have to make somewhere around 10 million a year, 20 million a year for you to pay yourself too, and then stay
Yes, yeah.
afloat.
And honestly, that's probably still super
Still
high.
super high.
Like if you're taking 20% of the
Yeah, but that's
business,
for a regular business. If you're
yeah,
running like online courses, your spending is pretty much
is
like
very low. Yeah.
100,000 for like to maintain it, even like to put somebody on the phone, to like design the websites, to maintain like advertisement campaigns, and you probably spend like I don't know $1 million a year advertising, and blowing up like spending money on like improving your engagement on your Instagram, like
Yeah, yeah,
investing
yeah.
in those social networks. 100,000 a month probably would be a lot, and so then like if you have that much following, you have that proof that you're successful, but you're pretty much selling like nothing. But you can you can sell probably 70 people a month. Like, that's not that crazy. They can, and those stupid people are gonna go buy get a consumer loans to invest in that course that's gonna make you a billionaire. Like,
No, but maybe those courses are actually useful and
well, yeah. I mean, some of them are.
yeah.
Um, if you're already in the industry, if you understand something, you want network. But if you're taking a consumer loan to do that,
I feel like what would be really cool, and that's probably people don't do it because it doesn't work, but it'd be interesting to like create this program where you basically only take a percentage of future revenue
mhm.
that your client will generate because they use your course or
That's
your
a
knowledge.
that's a great business model. I'm actually reading the book right now where the guy did exactly that.
He did that.
Yeah, he did that. Because his program was really good.
Yeah. No, and the interests here are aligned, right? The
Hmm.
incentives are very well aligned. Like
Yeah,
the better
and
job you do, and that probably requires like interviewing your customers though, right?
yeah,
Because you got to make sure that the guy or the person is motivated, that they will actually put in the work, put in the effort,
yeah,
and they are honest as well, right? Because yeah,
yeah. So, but that is a great offer, and a lot of people are signing for that. So that's a great idea and a business model. It's just it's it's harder to deliver. Like your staff should actually be good. You should follow up. You make sure that they're making money, and
yeah,
but when they start doing that, they like it just snowballs. Like they start recommending you, start making more money. Everybody makes more money. Like you build a
yeah,
network.
yeah.
Like you
Yeah, and
go
you
on.
have a great reputation, right?
Yeah,
Because I think in this like courses industry, it's super important because there's just so much, you know,
yeah,
unreasonable stuff out there that is crappy and not really teaching you anything. Um, that yeah, reputation is super important. But yeah, no,
you know what
it's
can you
really cool.
do to make that much money? Sell drugs. Uh,
That's another profession.
yeah. Well, but I see a lot of people who drive those cars are actually drug dealers, and because I used to live in not so nice area, and pretty much every other house there is where they grow weed. Everybody knows about it. Nobody does anything about it. So, and you'd see Lambos and like Bentley trucks pulling up to those houses every other day.
Yeah,
Like it's a
no, it's crazy.
dumpster house, like dark curtains, like, and you'd see like actually Bentley trucks staying outside. So
Yeah, yeah. Well, the downside here is quite high, right?
yeah, you're gonna get caught and go to jail
Yes, exactly. It's
for a
not that
long, long time. But
exactly. It's not that you're just gonna get stuck with unpaid loans or have to file for bankruptcy. It's a little bit more
yeah,
serious than that.
well, that's LA though. It was like so many people, and
Yeah,
nobody cares actually. Like unless you do something crazy, get caught red-handed,
yeah.
nobody cares, and that's the sad
No, it's
thing.
insane. It's insane. Well, I mean, I'd only suggest legal ways of making that much money to
For
sustain
sure,
that.
don't do that. Don't go
Don't go that route. Yeah.
Breaking Bad. Yeah. So
Cool. So to sum up, what's our again? What are the total numbers that we have to make to sustain that kind of lifestyle?
2 million if you're selling bullshit on the internet and you don't really have to fulfill. I'd say your business has to make $20 million
Yeah.
for you to sustain that lifestyle.
And that's 2 million if you are spending how much per year? I think it was 750, right?
Yeah,
Yeah. So you need to make $2 million per year in order to spend 750 million
yeah.
per year.
And um, apparently, if you only make $100,000, you cannot even afford to live in Cincinnati. Oh, what is this? Not Sacramento.
Sacramento.
Like whatever,
Yeah.
same shit.
Fun, I guess, an interesting fact in San Francisco. I think now being wealthy, and I just saw in one article, means making
Top 1%.
7 to 800K.
That'd be
month.
top 1%, right?
I don't want to mislead you.
Probably.
Probably yes. It just they just talked about like what it means to be wealthy.
You're still
in
broke,
SF.
probably at that point.
7, 8, yeah, I guess.
In San
I guess.
Francisco, like after tax, 50%. That's what
400,
400,000,
350 to 400.
$33,000 a month.
Yeah, no, yes, it's taxes, man. Uncle Sam.
Yeah, what can you afford in $30,000 in San Francisco? I mean, you can afford a lot. You can live a good lifestyle for that money. It's just not as crazy as people think.
Yeah. Cool. I think does that conclude our episode?
Yeah. See you guys in the next one. Subscribe, like, leave the comments, share.
Give us some feedback. We're always looking forward to seeing that.
Thank you.